Charlamagne the God, we are the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, and Envy, you was trending a lot on social media yesterday. You was catching that slander.
For your opinion?
Yeah, for your opinion on Stop and Frisk, an opinion
Right.
I didn't agree with, Angela Yee didn't agree with, and everybody's been tweeting me since yesterday. Oh, you got to give DJ Envy Donkey of the Day. Global Grind even did an article. But, it's kind of difficult for me to give you Donkey of the Day in this situation because I have a lot more information than the general public has. And I would like for you to express some of that information as to why you have the frustration you do over all these guns on the street.
All right. Well, I think we spoke about Stop and Frisk a couple of months ago, and I was like, I'm totally against it. And then a couple of incidents started happening. I started reading in the paper, and then something happened to me last week, Thursday morning on my way to work. Driving to work.
That you didn't tell us about.
No, I didn't tell you about it because you guys like to make fun of things. And I had to find out where it was coming from and make sure that the suspects were caught before you made fun of it.
So you waited to tell us this weekend at the iHeart Festival while we was drunk, and you still got made fun of. But continue.
Right. So as I was on my way to work, car pulls up behind me, SUV, and turns on a police light. When the police light comes on, I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, this police light, something doesn't feel right about this.
Very smart detail that was missing from the police light. Tell them what it was. Because a lot of people would have stopped.
It was a red light. The police light was all blue. And in New York and New Jersey, the police lights have to have, it's red and blue. But in certain places down south, the police lights are only blue, I found out.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this.
So in New York and New Jersey, the police lights are red and blue. So when I see the blue light, I'm thinking to myself, this just doesn't feel right. So I don't pull over. I'm still driving. About 30 seconds later, the car rams into the back of me. Boom.
Tell them what kind of car you was driving to, by the way.
No, I don't need to tell them what kind of car it was.
Okay, I will, but keep going.
At this point, I'm 96% sure that it's not a cop, but I'm still not 100% sure because you watch these movies and you see the police hit people in the back to pull them over and things like that. So I'm still not sure. So I pick up the speed a little bit. So now I go from like 60, 70, I'm doing like 100. They hit me again. Boom. I realize it's not a cop.
Okay.
I take off. When I take off, there's a toll. I go through the toll. When I go through the toll, you got to slow down. There's a curve. There's cars going through the toll. So when I slow down, we go through the easy pass. They go through the easy pass behind me. So now they're side by side. And, I look over and I can see it's not a cop. I press the brakes hard. Now we're on the highway. Press the brakes hard. So now they press their brakes hard. But now they're in front of me. Dude hops out the car. I put the car in reverse, and now I'm backing down the highway, going the opposite way on the highway. So cars are coming at me doing high speeds, and I'm going the other way. Dude hops out, black mask, black hoodie, long sleeves. It was a beautiful day that day. It was like 88 degrees. All black. Pistol in hand, shooting at my car.
How many times you shot the car?
3 times.
Okay.
3 bullet holes in my car. Bam, 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 bam. So I'm driving. If you remember the Biggie Puff Daddy video with they driving backwards.
Yeah.
I'm driving backwards down the highway as they're shooting at the car. Two shots hit the front of the car. One hits the tire. Thank God that the car that I was driving, the tires are very strong. So if a bullet actually goes in the tire, you have 50 miles to continue to drive.
And what time of night was this?
This was about, I would say, 3 a.m.
And you was in?
I was in New Jersey on my way to work. So I'm backing up about at least a mile on the highway. So if you can imagine, you driving down the highway and you see a car going the opposite way, jetting, pull off on the highway. I take off. When I take off, I'm in an area in Jersey where I know a lot of people. So I call all the homies and they come. And I guess it was so many people there, the cops came. So when the cops pulled up, they seen the bullet holes in the car.
So you called the homies before you called the police?
Absolutely. Cops came, they see the bullet holes in the car, and I had to go, and they wanted to take the car. They wanted to,
you did what you were supposed to do as a civilian.
So I didn't. I had to get to work. So I drove the car back to the crib and then went to work. Okay. And then I came here and did the show that morning, no problems. And then after.
Didn't say anything to us.
No, I didn't say anything at all. Then after, I went back and I handled everything. They did the ballistics and everything like that. And I didn't mention this story because I know that the guys had to get apprehended. But when the guys left me from trying to rob me,
they went to go
5 minutes later, they robbed somebody else.
Yep.
Right on the highway. Pulled them over. Police lighted them on. Pulled them over. Pulled them out the car. Carjacked them.
So I think.
So when it came to getting these guns off the street, that was a major thing to me because we all know Negroes ain't marksmen. Those dudes weren't marksmen. They could have shot me, shot that windshield. They could have killed me. I got 5 kids in the family, and they could have killed me over what, a car?
And it's not just
Over
Negroes
some
either,
jewelry?
though, because I think about, situations like Dylan Roof in Charleston, South Carolina, when he ran up in that church and shot those 9 innocent people.
So the problem with that is I feel that had a turning point in me where I said we need to get these guns off the streets.
And that's where your energy came from with the whole stop and frisk.
Absolutely. And anything that has to get these guns off the streets, whether it's a buyback program, whatever it is, we need to get the guns off the street. Because the sad part about it is, if somebody would have seen it, there's this no snitching rule where, I'm not telling on somebody. So we're not getting these guns off the streets. And the bad thing about it is when we found out the area, it was one of the worst areas in New Jersey, where in that area, in that little mile radius, they had one of the largest crime rates, the largest assaults, the most shootings, and a lot of violence.
It was Newark.
In that little bit of area.
Yeah, it was Newark.
Right?
Yeah.
And that, I ain't gonna say what area, but it was in that little bit of area. In that little, in the whole, Newark ain't bad, but in that little bit of area, that's where crime is at one of the highest points in that area. So when I said stop and frisk, and people like, oh no, stop and frisk violates. Yeah, I've been stopped and frisked several times. I got shot at a couple times, but if I have to balance it out, I'd rather get stopped and frisked and shot at any day.
Well,
that's just my opinion. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
And then when it comes to it, I think about, damn, if they would have stopped and frisked some of the individuals in that crime-ridden area where crime is so high and assault is so high, maybe they would have pulled some of them guns off the area, and I wouldn't have been in that situation.
That's possible.
Little 7-year-old girls that walked to class wouldn't have got shot going to school. Little grandmas going to church wouldn't have got shot. That's my opinion. Now, I don't think the stop and frisk worked well, but I think it's something that might be able to be altered and work in a way that can help the community. Because if we're not turning these people in for being criminals, we have to do something.
And that goes back to what Charlamagne was saying earlier about locally being involved, what goes on in politics. If you live in a certain neighborhood, you should care what goes on in your neighborhood. Because to me, I look at it like there's way more things that need to be done than stop and frisk in a neighborhood.
Absolutely, there's way more that need to be
like
done.
That.
Parents need to take more control of their kids.
There need to be more after-school programs. I know people say sometimes there are none. There are a lot of things that have been just completely gotten rid of. This is a lot of things that would need to be done.
I mean, listen, you're right. If stop and frisk was a fair and balanced practice that targeted everybody equally across the board, then I could understand the extra precautions being taken. But since it's a practice that targets blacks and Hispanics and gives police the right to lawfully profile us, I'm not with it. And we can't just go around taking away people's civil liberties because of situations like this.
They've also proven that it wasn't effective. And actually, I was reading an article in the New York Times yesterday because they were talking about the debate and the whole stop and frisk situation. And they said that actually they had stopped doing stop and frisk. It went down 72%, and murders went down when stop and frisk went down.
I think
it kind of didn't seem like it did anything.
But they got a lot of guns off the street, and that was the main thing. Like, you're talking about getting... you're talking about getting a lot of guns off the street, 900 guns off the street a year, opposed to getting 200 guns off.
That number, we got to stop. See, that's the other thing they was telling you about. I don't know that 900 guns.
No, it was 8. I looked it up. Last year, I did my research because I was really into getting these guns off the street. I can cite all the references and I can pull them back.
But I think what you're trying to say is we need more police raids on gangs in areas that are ridden with crime. We need the police to be harder on the actual criminals, but not be hard on people with black and brown skin.
And that's not stop and frisk.
Yeah, stop and frisk is just hard on people with black and brown skin, period.
That live in certain neighborhoods.
And I honestly feel if it's a crime-ridden area, we need more police in those areas. We need more help in those areas because a lot of times that's where the people, those criminals are coming from. And nobody said, I'm targeting black. No, I'm targeting areas where it's crime ridden, where the assaults are high, violence is high, and there's people dying. And I don't care if it's black, brown, Spanish, Asian, white. Crime is crime, and we need to stop it.
But the other problem with stop and frisk is that a lot of people in those neighborhoods that were African American and Hispanic ended up getting arrested for things like having some weed on them, and that's a major inconvenience. And people have weed on them in all kinds of neighborhoods.
I mean,
it was those people that were black and Hispanic in those neighborhoods that were getting arrested for things that had nothing to do with guns.
See, yesterday, Envy's energy was very beige. It was very waffle colored. I understood where it was coming from when he was saying it.
That's an awful story of what happened.
Yes, and you have to respect people's right to not want to be a victim.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've been on both sides. I've been in stop and frisk before several times. I've been pulled over several times.
You shot at people before?
No. People have shot at me before.
And you shot back?
People have shot at me before. And I've been in situations like last week. I almost died. And I have 5 kids and a wife. I have 5 kids and a wife, and I'm a civilian. And I'm in these areas. I'm doing backpack giveaways in Newark. I'm in Queens and South Side talking about registering to vote. I'm in these areas. So I don't want to die in these areas.
Do you feel as if you may need to turn down your flossing because you're in these areas with these high-priced cars and your jewelry? You could be inciting the wolves?
Nah.
Huh?
Nah, I work hard, and I work hard legally.
I understand
I bust my ass every day to get what I want, and I bust my ass every day to invest my money and to make sure my thing is right. If I want to buy a nice car, I'm going to buy a nice car. That's my right.
Clearly these guys were trying to either rob you or kill you, one of the two.
Yeah, maybe rob me, maybe kill me, maybe carjack me. But, I mean, the person that they carjacked right after me didn't have a luxury car. It was just, they just wanted a car and wanted to make money. But I bust my ass every day. I outwork half these people in this industry, and I continue to work. So if I want to buy something nice for myself, my family, or my wife, I'm going to do it.
And you shouldn't be...
And I don't care what anybody thinks.
And you shouldn't be a target because of that, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's why you can't have stop and frisk, because you don't want to take away people's civil liberties. You can't be a target just because you have black and brown skin.
Well, it has nothing to do with black and brown skin. It has to do with
stop and frisk.
Crime.
Stop and frisk.
But I said that. But I said it has to be altered, and it has to be crime-ridden areas. And it doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, Asian, what you are. But we're going to take some phone calls right now. 800-585-1051. What are we talking to these people about?
And I'd like to know if people's opinions have changed about your stance after hearing why you feel the way that you feel. Because that's what I wish you would have said yesterday as I was sitting back.
I had to make sure that the guys were apprehended before I talked about the story. Well, more things are more important. More important as far as safety is my concern.
And I know you was confused because one of the guys was Spanish, one of them was black, and those are both your people. You have Spanish and black.
You're saying too much on air right now.
I'm a civilian. I don't care.
You're saying too much on air right now, and that's the reason why I don't tell you. I'm cutting your mic off right now. 800-585-1051 is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, this is where we usually do the rumors, Yee.
Right, but instead we got to talk about this whole stop and frisk situation because I know it got out of control yesterday. There was a lot of things happening on social media. I saw a lot of articles about you, DJ MV, and you told us something that we didn't know.
And can I just tell everybody that I'm African American?
You're not African American.
I'm African American. I seen I was Puerto Rican. I seen I was Mexican. I seen I was Colombian yesterday. I seen Puerto Rican.
You're definitely beige, and your beige rage was coming out yesterday. You had every light skin emotion absolutely possible on display yesterday, but there was a reason for that, and the reason was you got shot at.
I almost died. They tried to take
week.
my life away.
They shot at you 4 times in your vehicle.
3 times at the vehicle. 1 hit the ground.
And it's like the second time this happened to you in New York that I know of.
Yeah, the other time when somebody tried to rob me, I actually chased him and caught him.
Got you.
I actually chased him. He was shooting at me, and
in retrospect, I don't know.
I chased him down. It was stupid. I shouldn't have chased him down.
I don't know if that's a great idea.
But I did catch him.
So you tired of being a victim?
I did catch him. And he was arrested. And another reason I didn't want to talk about it on air is because I know my kids listen, and I didn't want my kids to hear the story and they get nervous every time their dad goes out. That was another reason I didn't really want to discuss it on air. Let's go to the phone lines. A lot of people want to talk to me. 800-585-1051. Hello, who's this?
I think stop and frisk, they should do it in every hood. You can't just do it in our hoods.
I agree.
Do it in every hood.
Yeah, not just high crime areas. He's saying everywhere, every neighborhood.
Yeah, not even the hood, just neighborhoods. That's why I said if it was a fair and balanced practice that targeted everybody equally, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Because we already have a lot of suffering going on in certain neighborhoods. Why make people suffer more? And some people might get traumatized.
You remember how when airport security got real strict and they was making everybody take their shoes off? If stop and frisk was like that, where everybody had to go through that, I wouldn't have a problem
when
with
they would randomly check your bags in the train stations and it was anybody.
But I'm not mad at that. I just want to get the weapons and the illegal guns off the streets because they are hurting not just celebrities and they're hurting little kids, man. Little kids getting shot trying to go to school.
Yeah,
that's sad,
we all want that, but stop and frisk just targets blacks and Hispanics.
I don't want kids to have terrible experiences with the police officers so that they grow up hating cops.
And like I said yesterday, it has to be altered. I didn't say it was right. I just said it has to be altered. Hello, who's this?
Maya.
Hey, Maya. Good morning.
Good morning. I totally agree with what you were saying, and I just think there has to be an alternative to how they do it, how they go about it. You can't just pull over anyone, without any type of probable cause or, anybody that doesn't look suspicious. You know
and
what I mean?
Police can already pull you over for probable cause. I just think we don't need stop and frisk. Maybe something else. But not stop and frisk.
Yeah, well, something
That's just my
They
opinion.
discriminate when they see, tinted windows or, a black person inside the vehicle. They automatically assume, you know what I mean?
And even when they're doing stop and frisk in white neighborhoods that was 74% white. They was still stopping all black people. So it's not really fair.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. And I live in Massachusetts. I live in the South Shore area. So it happens. It happens not as frequently as in the black neighborhoods, but it happens, and I see it all the time. I normally get pulled over. I do. And as a black female, I feel like, you know what, they do discriminate, and they do tend to pull over black people more than white people.
And it makes you feel like I don't want to call the cops when I have a problem because now you don't like them because they've inconvenienced you and you have a hostile attitude.
I keep saying it over and over. If stop and frisk was a fair and balanced practice that targeted everybody equally across the board, then I could understand the extra precautions being taken. But since it's a practice that targets blacks and Hispanics and gives the police the right to lawfully profile us, I'm just not with it.
I say do it across the board then, especially in areas where you can't carry a gun. Like in New York and New Jersey, you can't. They don't want you to protect yourself. You can't carry a weapon because if you do carry a weapon and you get caught, if I would have had a gun with me that night and I would have shot him, I would have been in the right for defending myself. Mm-hmm. But I would have went to jail for having a gun.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a double-edged sword.
I just don't want police to be able to break the law to enforce the law, and taking away people's civil liberties is unconstitutional. So that's breaking the law. So I don't want stop and frisk. And I don't think stop and frisk will slow down violence. But I understand that, you know, if you've been in a situation like Envy was just in last Thursday, you just want something to be done.
We got to get these guns off the streets. All right. Well, we got the donkey of the day on the way, man.
Yes, I wanted it to be you, but, you know, I respect your right.
Everybody else wanted it.
I respect your right to not want to be a victim.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Donkey today is on the way. Who you giving it to? You ain't teasers, man.
I don't know yet. I was so set on doing it to you, but then you decided to come in here and tell us this damn sob story that we knew about since last Thursday.
And you know why I didn't want to tell you? Because when I told you at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, what's the first thing you said?
I said, well, Nick, maybe you need to start driving a Yukon like your boy and stop riding around in $500,000 cars. Okay, that's what I said.
Stop stunting on everybody.
I said the streets is hungry, and you look like food.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't talking about inspiration. My kids can't eat your inspiration, Envy. All right? Inspiration.
And that's why I didn't tell you.
Okay.
Goodness gracious. All right, Donkey today's up next is the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
WWPR.